Welcome to Lesson 3, Pre-Writing. I'd like you to open up your notebook right now. Open it up. Stop the video and open up your ELA notebook. I'd like you to title your notes just like this. Okay. You're watching the videos on various days, so make sure you put in the correct date. And today's lesson is on pre-writing, specifically the pre-write strategy of FAP, F-A-P. Even before you do any writing for your informative piece, an opinion piece, a narrative, or maybe even an ERQ, an extended response question like the ones we answer on our tests, we always pre-write and develop a plan. So even before we can start our rough draft, where there's some pre-writing we have to do. The first thing we have to do is identify the form. The form means what am I writing? So your form is, are you writing a letter? Are you writing a news article? Are you writing an essay? Are you making a graph? So think about your form. Is it a letter? Is it an article? Is it a narrative? Are you telling a story? So what's your form? You are writing an informational piece, nonfiction. It's real. So think about some nonfiction pieces of writing that you've read. We read... Okay, I thought I had a Scholastic News in here, but I don't. So we have Scholastic News that we read. We have textbooks that we read. There are lots of options for an informative form. So the first thing you have to do is decide what's your form. Then you need to think about your audience. And your audience is who's going to be reading this. Who? For this particular piece that you're writing, your audience largely is me, but you are going to be sharing your learning in a presentation with the class. Remember, you have that visual piece that you have to do. So think, your audience is me, I'm one of those who's, but the other who are your classmates. So think about how the audience being mostly kids and your teacher might affect the way that you write. Think about Scholastic News that we get and read every week. The writers of Scholastic News write their articles differently than they would if their audience were adults. There is a magazine out there called Science Today. It is very, very educational, academic language because the people that read it are scientists. So a person like me who is, I guess I could say I'm a scientist, I've done plenty of experiments, but it's not my profession. There are probably lots of words and pieces of academic language that I wouldn't understand because they wrote for that audience of scientists. So think about how the audience might affect the words that you choose or the way that you explain things to your reader. The last thing that we need to identify is your purpose. Why are you doing the writing? There are really some very simple ways to think about your purpose. And I'll move this down a little bit. So, are you writing to inform? Or educate someone about something? Are you writing to persuade someone to maybe think a certain way or do something? Are you telling a story? So think about your purpose. For this particular project, I know some of you have chosen informative pieces and some of you have chosen persuasive pieces. If your purpose is to inform, then think about how that would affect how you write. If your purpose is just to educate someone, you don't want them to do anything, you just want to educate them, you're going to write a certain way. But if you are writing to persuade, then you want someone or something to take action or something to change or something to happen, you're going to write more persuasively and less matter-of-factly and informatively than someone who might be writing to inform or to educate. So think about your purpose. Once you identify these three things, you need to check in very quickly with Ms. Shepard, with me, so I can see that you've identified those things and you've thought about those things, and then I'll give you clearance to start your flash draft. Good luck.